Tara Calico, 19 years old, left her house in Valencia County, New Mexico on the morning of September 20th, 1988, to go for her daily bike ride. Her daily trip along New Mexico State Road 47 was the same. Her mother, Patty Doel, knew it well because the two of them traveled it together quite frequently. Patty, on the other hand, had been skipping rides lately. She was nervous and hesitant to bike after a recent incident in which a car sped extremely close to her, purposefully passing her many times. Tara, on the other hand, stuck to the custom, politely declining her mother's request that she carry mace. It was the same sunny stretch she had been riding for years, and she had never had a terrible experience. Tara joked as she walked out the door that if I didn't show up by noon, her mother should come looking for her. However, noon came and went, but Tara never returned. It was the start of a mystery that would eventually consume the country. Patty Doel and her husband John were left in the dark for 10 months. Patty drove up and down their bike route on the afternoon Tara vanished, hoping for a trace of her daughter. She called the cops when she couldn't find her. They didn't find Tara Calico on her bike, and no one who was questioned claimed to have witnessed any kind of accident or kidnapping. A few witnesses remembered seeing Tara down the road, and one or two thought they saw a light-colored pickup traveling alongside the bike. Patty eventually became certain that pieces of Tara's Walkman and cassette tape were purposefully damaged and dropped as part of her daughter's effort to leave a trail. Tara and her pink bike, however, were not discovered. Police began questioning John and Patty about Tara's home life because there was no compelling proof of foul play. Is their daughter content? Or did she ever bring up the subject of travel? They assumed the 19-year-old had run away from home, but her relatives fiercely disputed this, characterizing Tara as a happy, upbeat young lady. She had so much she wanted to get done every day. She resembled a small machine. It was incredible, Tara's stepfather, John Doel, said, with his heart torn. Patty and John waited, and waited, and waited some more. However, additional evidence was not provided. Tara Calico had vanished without a trace. On June 15, 1989, nearly 9 months after Tara Calico vanished, a bizarre Polaroid photograph was discovered in a convenience store parking lot in Port St. Joe, Florida, nearly 1,500 miles away from where Tara had vanished. A teenage girl and a small kid were laying on sheets and a pillow in the creepy photograph. Both are shackled and have duct tape over their mouths. The woman who saw the photograph immediately contacted the authorities, stating that a white Toyota van had been parked in the area just before she had arrived. The driver was a mustachioed man in his 30s. Police set up a roadblock in an attempt to stop the vehicle, but they were unable to find it or its driver. Now, when the Polaroid was featured on the television show America's Most Wanted, it got national notoriety. Patty was called by friends who had listened in to the show, telling her to look at the Polaroid and see if it was Tara. Patty Doel wasn't sure when she first viewed the photo. However, the more she looked, the more confident she became. Tara had gotten a discolored streak on her leg in a vehicle accident when she was younger, and the girl in the image had the very same scar. Then there was the dog-eared paperback book sitting next to her. One of Tara's favorite authors was V.C. Andrews. Patty was convinced. Tara was looking back at her from the Polaroid, a little older and without makeup. The authorities, on the other hand, were not so confident. The FBI was unable to provide conclusive evidence either way, and experts at the Los Alamos National Laboratory doubted it was her. Scotland Yard in the United Kingdom, on the other hand, examined the photo and determined that the girl actually was Tara Calico. The photograph had been taken lately, according to all parties. It couldn't have been taken after May of that year because the material on which it was produced wasn't yet available, but the authorities had no other options. Despite the formation of a task team in 2013 to reinvestigate Tara's disappearance, her case has remained cold in the ensuing decades. In 2003, the Doels decided to relocate from New Mexico to Florida, a distance of over 2,000 miles. It was a decision they'd wanted to make for years but couldn't bring themselves to make since they were always half expecting a break in their daughter's case. They felt it was time after enduring dozens of futile tips and appearing on numerous shows, such as Oprah, Unsolved Mysteries, 48 Hours, and A Current Affair, to plead for the news of their daughter. "There's nothing I can do here that doesn't remind me of Tara," Patty remarked on their house in New Mexico. In 2008, Sheriff Rene Rivera of Valencia County, New Mexico, revealed that he knew what had happened to Calico and who was responsible. He didn't name the suspects, but said they were two young guys who were following Calico on her bike when she vanished and were involved in an accident. They disposed of her body in a frenzy. Rivera said he couldn't make an arrest since there were no remains. When John Doel learned of Rivera's claims, he was furious. He claimed that the sheriff had no motive to make his suspicions public if he couldn't arrest the suspects. "There is such a thing as circumstantial evidence," Doel explained. "And I know they've obtained convictions on strong circumstantial evidence in other locations." Over the years, 2 more Polaroid images that could have been of Tara Calico have surfaced. One was a fuzzy photo of a girl's face with tape covering her mouth discovered near a Montecito, California residential construction site. According to forensic evidence, it was seized after May 1989. The second photograph was of a woman lightly bound with her eyes closed, sitting next to a man on an Amtrak train, February of 1990. As a result of either image, no charges were ever filed. Of the 2 photographs that surfaced, Patty Doel thinks the one from Montecito is of Tara. However, the second photograph she does not believe is her daughter. Tara Calico has been missing for over 3 decades. Her disappearance remains one of the most enthralling cold cases in recent memory, and it appears that only chance will provide answers at this point. Given the evidence of the photographs found on both sides of the United States, do you think it's possible that Tara Calico could still be alive today? Let us know what you think down below. And as always, thanks for watching.